Well, looks like I spoke too soon. I got to the delivery spot and unloaded my truck, and then once I came back to the truck, it was very quiet. It died again. It lasted for the drive from the shop back to the yard, and then it lasted from the yard to here. Now I'm sitting here stuck again. Tried wiggling the wires and all again. That didn't work. Couldn't take any more relays out because we got a new top for the new cover for the fuse box under the hood, and it was screwed down, so I can't get it off. So now I'm sitting here waiting for the mechanic to show up again. So while I'm waiting, I was gonna take a nap, but I don't really like taking naps in the truck because if somebody comes up to the truck, you have no idea about it. It's just in a bad area. Just not a habit I want to get into of sleeping where people can see you. So now I'm just sitting and waiting. I called him about 10:30. No, I really looked, it was about 11:15. Something like that, I don't know. But right now it's about 1:25, 1:30. He's still not here. But he had some other stuff I'm sure he had to finish up real quick on the truck. He's up by the stadiums. I'm about 45-minute drive from there if you know where you're going and there's no traffic. So I'm just waiting for him to show up. In the meantime, I've been watching some survival videos and goofy stuff, fail videos. Off the ranch, demo ranch. All that good stuff. So I guess we'll just keep on waiting. And one of the pain in the butts about being out of this job site is that there's no porta-john. And since it's cooler outside and I'm not sweating, I gotta pee like every 15 minutes. It's like I'm pregnant or something. No porta-john over at the job site, but luckily, you see all that stuff back there, just go back to the wood line, back to where most of these neighbors can't see you. But you gotta make sure that you're out of sight completely, because a lot of these subdivisions we go to are full of rich folks, and they, I would imagine, get pretty irritated or grossed out if they see somebody peeing in the grass. So I go back there, gotta go back to the wood line where they can't see it, and I'm good to go. If it was colder outside, I'd probably sit out there, go find some firewood, and have me a little fire over here by the truck, but it's not that cold anymore. It started out cold today. I had 2 layers of Polypro on. I got my Polypro pants on. I was wearing a coat and gloves, PT cap and everything. Man, I was cold. Now I think it's up in the 60s. So the sun's shining. Nice blue sky back here. So that keeps you warm, especially sitting in this truck. It's just like a little oven. So you start getting hot. But roll down the window, it'll be alright. At least this time it broke down on a little back road back here. Not on the highway or on one of the busy streets in the middle of town. Or, like it's happened a couple of times, right in the middle of an intersection. Busy 4-lane road, 4 lanes each direction. I was in the center lane of it, and it died at a stoplight during the morning rush. There was another time, it was a little farther down that same road. I was at a busy intersection, and it died right there. That's when I smashed the lid to the fuse box under the hood, and I took it off and set it on the front tire to get everything started up again, and I was rushed. So once it got started up, I threw the hood down and drove off, forgetting that the lid to the fuse box was on the tire. Ran it right over. Oops. So then after that, I talked to a mechanic. He said he'd ordered me one up, but in the meantime, I would have to cover it up with a plastic bag. So once I got it covered up, it was all waterproofed up for the most part, because it was supposed to rain that night. That worked for a few days, but now I've got an actual cover back on it, but it's screwed down, so I can't get into it. At least it's a nice day, it's not raining or nothing. So there's some good news. Little breeze going. I was thinking about it while I was kind of tromping around in the grass out there. I was needing a place to do my next bug out deal, and I was going to go to my grandparents' house, but my grandma has a strict rule of no fires. And I would kind of like to have a fire while I'm out there, because it's going to be cold when I do the next one. Pappy burns up the property 1 or 2 times, and suddenly you're not allowed to have a fire. I'm not sure how he did it, but there was a grass fire that somehow he started, and it just started spreading and spreading and spreading. Fire department had to show up and all. The neighbors were out there with shovels trying to stomp out the flames and dig out a trench real quick so the fire couldn't get across it. So now she says no fires. But then I was thinking while I was tromping around out here, why don't I just do it out here? Because there's plenty of places. Right now I'm in Tonganoxie, and there's plenty of places around here, farther down the road where the subdivisions that we're building up. There's plenty of woods back there that, as far as I know, nobody owns, just the company that's building around there probably. So I'll probably disappear into the woods up there. And that might work out. It's about 30 minutes from the house. Far enough out to where nobody's really going to mess with you if you're having a fire or being out there. Hopefully. I guess we'll find out when I do the next little deal. So, at least I got something accomplished. Figured out where the next bug out location could be. Only thing I'll have to figure out next is where am I going to put my truck while I'm out there. Because it's got to be a spot where the truck's hidden enough where the neighbors won't see it, because a lot of people will see a truck sitting out there and they'll get a little worried and maybe call the police, and police come up, snag my truck. I don't want that. I've had that happen a couple of times where I park somewhere and go walking, and then you get back to the vehicle and all of a sudden the police are there and they started interrogating us thinking we were selling drugs or something. I said, no, we're just out walking around. The guy goes, I don't believe you. I said, okay. It's the truth, so I can tell you with a clear conscience I'm not lying to you. He ended up letting us go because he didn't have nothing on us. We weren't selling drugs. We really were out there just walking. So I'll have to go scope it out and find a place to put the truck while I'm out there and try to keep people from messing with me. So there's that. I need to start keeping some snacks in my truck. Starting to get a little hungry. I had some breakfast, but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches don't stay in your stomach too long. Starting to get hungry. I want something to munch on. No time to set up snares, unfortunately. I guess this rambling video's gone a little bit too long, so I'll cut it off. See y'all on the next one. Keep on working. Hey, we got it back up and running again. Turns out there's a wire down there that before it gets into that fuse box under the hood, it's got a wire that goes down, and then there's a connection, and it splits off into 2 different wires. So I guess somewhere in that little connection right there that's covered up by the rubber cover on it, something in there must just be corroded, so that every time that when you kind of move it around, it breaks that corrosion off of it, gives it another connection. Whenever it is connected like that, it'll be all right. But then once that corrosion builds back up, it doesn't want to work again. So you just have to snap it all off. So they're going to go in, replace that connection. Looked like it had kind of pulled apart a little bit too. So at least we kind of tracked it down. We thought maybe it was from my cell phone charger being plugged in, because that's really the only difference between it running in the shop and then when it's running with me is my phone charger's plugged in. But it ended up not being that. I think they pinpointed it down to that wire split down underneath the hood. So hopefully that'll be it. It's crazy how one little 10-cent connector can cost thousands of dollars before it's actually fixed, because electrical stuff just sucks. It's hard to track it all down, and it's a pain in the butt to fix it. But hopefully that's the full actual problem, and my truck will be reliable once again. So I got to get back to the yard. My boss is probably pretty mad that I took 5 hours to do this run. this delivery that's at a place that's 30 minutes away from the shop. So lucky me, I get to deal with that when I get back to the yard. So I'm gonna keep on working.